Welcome back. Currently, we are learning Python, and this is day 23 of the playlist titled Python Beginner Boost. And in this video, we will learn about a new module in Python, which is random module. So, what is a random module? So, the random module is a built-in Python library that provides functions to generate random numbers, sequences, and more. It is a valuable tool for creating simulation games and applications that requires a touch of unpredictability. So let's try to use the random module. So for that we have to import the random module. So import a random. So this is how we import the random module. And now let's try to generate a random number within a range of 1 to 100. So for that I will create a variable called random underscore integer. In this variable I will store the random number generated using the random module. So for that we will use the random module, and inside that we will use the rand int class, and here we will pass the range. So the range is included, as you can see on screen. Return random integer in range a to b, including both endpoints. So it will generate a random number from 1 to 100, one random number between 1 and 100. So let's try to print the random number which will be generated. So print random integer, and let's also add some message here, because we will be doing lot of exercises in this video. Random integer and then comma. Let's save it, and now let's try to execute this. So python 3 after date, the name of the file, which is random number.py, and press enter. As you can see, a random number integer which is 56 is generated and printed. Now if I again execute the code, then a different number will be generated between 1 to 100. As you can see, now it is 45. If I again run the code, then it is some other number which is 37. Now let's try to do one thing. Let's create a list of fruit, and then try to select one random fruit from them. So for that I will create a list for fruits, and under this list I will add some fruits which are apple, then banana, then orange, and then cherry, and let's add one more which is watermelon. After that we will create a variable which is random fruit, and this random fruit will store the random fruit picked from this list. So for that we will use random dot, and we will use the method which is named as choice, and inside that we will pass the sequence. As you can see, choose a random element from a non-empty sequence. So we will pass the name of the sequence which is fruits, and after doing this we will print the random fruit selected by the computer. So random fruit, and after that comma, we will print the random fruit variable and save the code. Now let's try to execute the code. As you can see on screen, first of all random integer is generated from this line number 7 and printed from line number 8. After that a random fruit is selected from this list. So currently it is banana is selected. Now if I execute the code again, some other fruit will be selected and will display it on the screen. Currently it is again banana. So let's try to print it again. As you can see, now cherry is selected, so the order is completely random. You don't know which fruit will be generated when. As you can see, it is changing again and again. Sometimes they will match, but most of the time the number will be random, or the fruit which is selected from this list will be random. Now let's try to do one more thing. Let's try to shuffle the deck of card. So first of all we will create a list with the name deck underscore of cards, and it will store some uh, cards which are one not s. After that 1 2, and you got the idea, like it will store the cards. So I will not generate the complete list, we will try to shuffle the deck of card. So now let's use the random class. After that I will use the shuffle method, and under that I will pass the list. So I will pass deck of card, and if now I print the deck of card variable here, and also let's print the deck of card before shuffling. So on line number 16 I will print the deck of card again here. So print deck of card. Now let's try to shuffle it. As you can see, currently it is on the first one, it is on the order, and then it is shuffled, like 1 2 3 are just misplaced. Now let's again execute the code, and again they will be shuffled. If I again execute the code, again the deck of card is shuffled. Now let's try to flip a coin. So this can also be done using the choice method. So we will create a list which will store two values, head and tails, and then we will use the choice method to toss a coin. So let's create a variable which is coin underscore side, and it will store two values, heads, the second is tails. Now let's print random dot choice, and in this I will pass the name of the list coincide, and let's try to print it. Let's see. Let's try to guess what will be the side of the coin which will be printed. I am assuming it will be head. Let's try it. The head is printed. Let's try it again. Sometime it will be head, sometime it will be tails. So this is how you uh, toss a coin using Python. Now let's try to do one more last example, which is rolling a dice. So let's try this. So again we will try to generate random number between 1 to 6, because the dice has only 6 sides and having numbers from 1 to 6. So let's try to generate that. So for that I will directly use the print method. That I will create a random dot randint, and here I will pass the range 1 to 6, and it will generate a number between 1 to 6, and this is how we will like simulate a dice rolling. So let's try it. As you can see, 2 is generated, now 4 is generated, now 2 is generated, 4 is generated, 5 is generated. So this is how you roll a dice. So in this video we have learned about 2 to 3 methods of random module. First one is randint, which will generate a random number between 1 and 100 between any range which we provide to this function. So if we provide a higher range, then the number will be generated accordingly. And after that we learn about the choice method, which will choose a random value from a list or a sequence. After that we have learned about the shuffle, which we can use to shuffle a deck of card or to shuffle any list or a sequence. After that we have again look at the example of tossing a coin. So here we have provided two values, heads and tails, and it will randomly pick one value from it. And then after we learn about how to simulate a rolling of dice. Now let's create one more file, and we will create a game which is guess the number. Guess the number .py. So in this file we will create a game. So let's start with, so the main idea of the game is to like the computer will generate a random number, and once the computer generate a random number, we will try to guess that random number. So let's start with the development. So first of all, what we will do, we will import our random module. Import random. So once the random module is imported, we will create a variable which will store a random number generated between 1 to 100. So let's create a variable for that, and we will write the name of the variable as secret number, because this is what the computer will generate. So secret number, and here we will use a randint method to generate a random number between 1 and 100. So 1 comma 100, and this secret number will store the random number generated by the computer. Now we will create one more variable which will be named as attempts. So it will store the number of attempts taken by user to guess this secret number which is generated by the user. So currently at the starting it will be 0. Now we will take input from the user. So user will give the input. If the input matches the secret number, then we will congratulate the user and display the attempts they have taken. And if the number which the user has guessed is less than the secret number, then we will give a message like try higher. And if the number is greater than the user which is guessed, then we will show try lower. So let's do this. So first of all, let's create a method for this. So I will write everything in a method or in a function. So I will write a function def, and it will be guess a number. And as you know, when we need to intend our code, so I will press tab keys. So here I have created a method guess number, which is having a variable called secret number, which is generating a secret number, and the second is attempts. Now I will loop to it because I only want to stop this process when user is able to guess the number correctly. That's why I am writing the condition as true, and we will learn about one special keyword in Python, which is break, which will help us to break this while loop whenever user is able to generate the number correctly. So first of all, entering into the while loop, we will ask the user for the input. So we will create a variable guess, and here we will use input and give a message guess a number between 1 and 100. So this is the question which will ask the user, and user will input a number, but there might be a case that user will input something wrong. So first of all, we will need to convert it into the integer. Now we have taken the input from the user. So after taking the input from the user, we will increase the value of attempt. So attempts will become attempts plus 1. So whatever the value of attempt is now, it will increase by 1. So let's increase it by 1. So currently the attempt is 1. User has given the input first time. So we will increase the value of attempt by 1. So it will become 1. Now after doing that, we will check the value which the user has given is equals to the value which the computer has generated. So if the guess is let's do one thing, let's try for the less than 1. So if guess is less than the secret number generated by the computer, then we will display a message which will be print, which will, so the number which user is guessing is less than the secret number, then we will give them a hint like try higher. Now you have understood that if the number is greater than the secret number, then we will say them that it is print try lower, try lower. And the last one is, and we will not use if here, we will use else if, elif. And the last one is, if the number matches the user input, then we will print congrats. And we will also use, let's use the f string for this, congrats. And here I will write you took attempts, you took xyz attempts. Now after it is done, we will write the break line. So this is our code. So let's try to execute the code. So for executing those code, as you can see, we have written a function here. So we will need to call this function. So let's call the function at the end, guess number. And now let's go to our terminal and try to execute this file python 3, and here we will use the name of the file case the number.py. So first of all, it is asking us guess a number between 1 and 100. So let me guess it as 60. So it is saying that the number which you have entered is greater than the number which the computer has generated. As you can see, it is printing try lower, and we have written the try lower under this condition, which means the number which we have guessed is greater than the secret number. So that's why we have to try lower values. So let me try some lower value, which is 40. And now it is saying that the value which you have entered is 40, which is less than the secret number. So it can't be 40, it should be some values higher. So let me try 50. Again, it is saying that the value is less than 50. So I will try 45. Again, it is saying that the value is greater than 45. So I will try 47. And again, it is saying it is more greater. So 48. And you, as you can see, we took 6 attempts to guess the number. So let me explain you the code once again. First of all, what we have done, we have imported the random module. After that, we have created a guess number method, and so inside that we have created a random integer using the randint method. And here we have given the range as 1 to 100. After generating the random number, we have created one variable which is attempts, which is used to store the score of the user. After that, we are looping through a while loop. Inside that, we are asking the user for input to guess a number. Once the user inputs the number, then we are increasing the attempt by 1. After that, we are checking if the number which user has guessed is less than the secret number. Then we are giving the user a hint, which is you should enter a higher number. If the number which user has entered is greater than the secret number, then we are giving them a hint, which means please enter a lower number. And if the value which user has entered matches the secret number, then we are congratulating them and also displaying the attempts they have taken. So let me execute the code once again and show it to you. As you can see, it is asking guess a number between 1 and 100. Let's try to uh, guess the number in less attempts. So 50, 25, 12, 17, 19, 21, 23, 24, 25. I think it is breaking. Try higher. Let's try some more variable. 50. Try lower. 45. 47. So we took 12 attempts. So this is how we write a game using a random module of Python. So that's it in this video. We will learn some more concept in the next video.